If you recently caught a flight from the Delhi, Mumbai, or Bengaluru airports, you may have witnessed long queues. First, to get into the terminal, then at the check-in counters, followed by serpentine queues at the security or immigration counters. With this being the peak travel season, Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia met the operators of major airports and other stakeholders on Wednesday to find a solution. After the meeting, Scindia told Business Standard that before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the highest domestic passenger numbers were about 407,000 a day, but that figure was surpassed on 5th of December at 413,000. More people flying has led to congestion at major airports. This is in line with the recent trend seen in India's air passenger traffic, which rose about 10% sequentially and almost 30% year-on-year to over 11 million air passengers in October. According to the minister, an analysis of the bottlenecks was done in the meeting. This started from the point a passenger arrived at the airport to when she boarded the flight, and solutions were identified. He said that a lot of the congestion was taking place in Delhi and to a certain degree in Mumbai, while other airports were not affected to the same extent. So what are these solutions? As the first step, Scindia instructed the airports to plan the arrivals and departures of aircraft, especially during peak hours, based on their capacity to handle passengers from the point of their arrival to boarding the plane. This could mean rearranging flights during peak hours based on the airport's capacity. He said that the process has started and gave the example of the Delhi airport, which has already rearranged its peak hour landings and takeoffs. He added that several flights were being shifted from Delhi's T3 to the T1 terminal.
The airports which we are talking about, Delhi and Bombay, are already capacity constrained. When we rearrange the arrival and departure passengers or flights, we are bound to see some changes in the flight schedules, and that would possibly lead to a certain time shift across the passenger through a travel time. But largely speaking, it is primarily around the short-term immediate solution of these congestions at the airports, which would lead to short-term gains and easing of congestion on the immediate horizon.
Second, officials dealing with customs and immigration, along with the Central Industrial Security Force and airport operators, have been told to ensure that all the landing cards are distributed inside the flights to avoid long queues. Landing cards are a must for international passengers arriving in India. Third, the number of lanes for security checks, hand baggage clearance, and frisking will be increased. At select major airports, capacity may be augmented with regard to the immigration desks and security personnel. Most domestic airlines plan to operate fewer flights during the festival period leading up to Christmas and New Year. This is because over 75 planes of major carriers have been grounded since November due to engine supply or maintenance issues. Thus, airlines have scheduled fewer flights on the busy Delhi-Mumbai, Delhi-Goa, Delhi-Srinagar, Hyderabad-Bengaluru, and Delhi-Patna routes in December. Against this backdrop, will the congestion at major airports end anytime soon? And what challenges may have to be overcome along the way?
The Indian carriers are primarily augmenting the capacity by various other tools like wet leases, like the aircraft utilization, increasing the aircraft utilization, usage of A321 neos, which have a higher capacity. So, in a larger sense, they are offsetting the capacity deployment. Traditionally, quarter three or the period from October to December of every year is high travel period because of the festive season. So, in the short term, we still see this robust growth to actually lead to these congestion patterns, and we see a continuing trend in the congestion patterns as of now.
Vinamra Longani, an aviation expert from Sareen and Company, a law firm specializing in aircraft leasing and finance, is optimistic about the plan's chances. In particular, he feels that focusing on all the points of contact passengers must go through is the right step.
The critical choke points at any airport, are our security, our immigration in case of international travel, and sometimes even customs, for arriving passengers. Now, security, to enter the airport is provided by a government entity. It is the CISF that does it. Similarly, immigration and customs staff are also on are on government payroll. So while the airport operators do get blamed for poor service to customers, but it's largely because of services that are provided by government entities. And this is where I would like to compliment the Minister of Civil Aviation for stepping in immediately, for having a meeting with the respective stakeholders.
Also, what about long-term solutions? For example, a report by aviation analytics firms OAG said that the Indira Gandhi International Airport became the world's 10th busiest in October, improving its position from 14th place in October 2019. And it won't be any surprise if it, along with the Mumbai and Bengaluru airports, becomes busier in the coming years. According to an assessment by the Airports Authority of India, the country's total air passenger traffic is expected to increase from around 340 million during FY20 to around 830 million by FY33.
So in terms of long-term solutions, primarily capacity augmentation for Delhi, as we already know, phase 3A is already going on. And then in Mumbai, the Navi Mumbai airport will add the capacity. But in a larger sense, we are seeing a drive towards privatization of airports, which has already shown a trend of improving operational efficiencies, which in large sense means that the traffic throughput throughout the airport can improve. This is the capex also, which is done. So it will be a combination of multiple factors like the augmentation of capacity by the already existing airports when they shift to privatization and by AI in turn, and the greenfield airports, primarily the Navi Mumbai and Zurich.
The Indian aviation sector is in the middle of a demand boom, but the experience of flying has suffered. Solutions like rearranging flight schedules at major airports may help ease the pain of air travel in the short term, but don't hold the long-term promise of smooth and convenient air travel. India needs to plan for a much bigger civil aviation infrastructure that makes flying cheerful for both flyers and airlines.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.